Assalamualaikum to Puan Diana, Bila. Today, our group want to present our topic is Asia as oligopoly and Microsoft as monopoly. Okay. My name is Muhammad Rizwan. I will present the introduction. For introduction, money structure, whether organized or competitive, specifies the nature of competition and the price policy adopted in the market among other manufacture, identical goods and services on the market, and its structure is determined by the level of competition that exists in that market that define market structure. There are several market structure, namely perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. In this study, we will compare the difference between oligopoly and monopoly by using two different companies, namely Asia and Microsoft. One or more large enterprise sell similar or different items is in an oligopoly market. Their competitive strategies are interconnected because there are few participants on the market. The entire industry is represented by one business in a monopoly market. No one else sells their product on the market, and the company is the only one selling it.
For the firm background, we choose Asia for oligopoly. Asia is viewed as an oligopoly firm. Asia Berhad is a Malaysian multinational low-cost airlines headquartered near Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It is the largest airline in Malaysia by armada size and objection. The Asia Group works planned homegrown and global trips to in excess of 165 objections, traversing 25 countries. Its fundamental base is KLIA 2, the minimal expense transporter terminal at Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA in Sepang, Selangor, Malaysia. Next, we chose Microsoft for monopoly. From Capitol Hill to Silicon Valley, the PC program Goliath has been regularly impacted as a monopolist or close to monopolist, as talk the associations imposing business model status were a set up reality, not one open to discuss. Notwithstanding a significant number of Microsoft techniques under legitimate assault both will for a monopolist. The Microsoft restraining infrastructure is undeniable. If the Justice Department attorneys are to be accepted in the grievance document against Microsoft in the U.S. local court of the District of Columbia on May 18, 1998. The Justice Department pronounced unequivocal that Microsoft has significant power on the lookout for PC working system.
Assalamualaikum to Madam Diana. My name is Muhammad Amiullah Shah bin Rahman. I will present about analysis on the comparison. An oligopoly and monopoly are market structure that exist when there is a perfect competition. A monopoly is when one business produces items with no close substitute, while an oligopoly is when a small number of very large companies create similar but slightly different commodities. Other businesses are unable to compete in both circumstances due to several engine restrictions. Next, I will talk about the comparison between Microsoft and Asia. Microsoft is an example of the monopoly and Asia is an example of oligopoly. First, I will talk about characteristic. Microsoft is a company that makes a computer and software. It is the market leader and virtual monopolist in the ICT space with a market share of more than 75%. But Asia is considered an oligopoly corporation since it is one of the few low-cost airlines among several that control the market. Next, price. Microsoft can increase their price because there are no other competitor to compete their business. An oligopoly market, on the other hand, ensure that prices are competitive and thus fair to the consumer. For example, if Asia lower its price, it is assumed that its competitors, such as Malaysia Airlines, will most likely follow suit and lower its price as well. Because there are only a few firms in the market selling nearly identical products, the level of competition in this type of market is high. Lastly, barrier to entry. Usually to enter the monopoly market is really difficult because it has more obstacles we face, so small company cannot enter easily in this market. In oligopoly, there are two, which is economies of scale and a high initial startup cost. Oligopoly barrier to entry are extremely high as economy of scale make it difficult to break into the business. AirAsia can do this because the airline production costs are relatively low due to the volume supply. A significant amount of initial startup capital is required to operate this business. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Shafi Zulfikar bin Nazar, and I'm going to present for the SWOT analysis for AirAsia and Microsoft. For AirAsia, the first one is strength. AirAsia have a stable and consistent positioning in the market. They also have weekly flights, and they achieve the cost cutting in their flights. Next, for the weaknesses, Asia have a high operating expenses, and they are also known as a low profit company. For the opportunities, Asia have the opportunity to develop the international travel business, and they are known as the low cost airline in the globe. For the trades, Asia have many competition from other companies such as Air India, Malaysian Airlines, and many more. For the recommendations for AirAsia should widen the company into additional countries and broaden its market. Next, for the SWOT analysis for Microsoft, the first one is the strength. Microsoft is a leading software company in the world, and for the weaknesses, there are a little bit of lacking in innovation, and that are too reliant on hardware manufacturers. They also have the opportunity to sell during the pandemic COVID-19. During the pandemic COVID-19, people buy their products such as laptop and smartphones for their online classes and online work. For the threats, Microsoft have a shifting preference of users, and they also have a lot of competition from other companies such as Huawei, Apple, and many more. Lastly, for the recommendation for Microsoft, the should lastly for the recommendation for Microsoft, they should make a new idea of their product and do a consistency in their sales around the globe. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Erako Andambusel, so I'm going to present about the impact of the pandemic on the market structure. As we know, the coronavirus has reached almost every country in the world. This contagion has had negative impact on the world economy due to the closure of the economic border from each country. This has affected developing countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia as well as the developed countries such as Japan. Restriction in terms of closing economic border have caused various business sectors such as aviation sector, business involving goods, and the business that involving materials such as automotive industry. Its spread has left national economies and businesses counting the cost. As governments struggle with new lockdown to measure this pandemic to tackle the spread of this virus. Despite the development of new vaccine, many societies still wondering what recovery looks like. For the market structure on Asia is the impact of this pandemic is this company is layoff and debt restructuring. The Asia company dismissals of some thousand staff to reduce the losses and suffer by the company. It's this action is to reduce the risk bankrupt and stabilize the financial flow in the company. Second is about the deep losses will continue until in 2021. The company AirAsia is in this pandemic is revenue falling. AirAsia company is led to the loss in revenue as its cost punctuality of passenger, restriction in traveling, and also the high number of workers that need to be paid. For the Microsoft is due to the current situation, Microsoft company has received a lot of the demand, especially related to the work, play, and learn from home scenarios. Uh, Due to the supply chain in China return to normal at a faster rate than the expectation of this Microsoft company, in commercial business as well, the company is showing increased users demand in the Windows Visual Desktop, Power Platform, and Microsoft 365. The company also reviewing the current situation as the advantage of this pandemic have positive impact on Microsoft users worldwide. They also made some change to their sale with prioritize sale to the industry and segment most affected by this COVID-19. So for the productivity and business process, the intelligent cloud is also impact the occur in Microsoft during pandemic. Most companies in the business world now require their work operation to run smoothly without any interruption. They take the alternative by the way paying their employees from work from home. This make it easier for the company to work during this pandemic because of the MCO moment control order that set by the government does not encourage employees to work in face-to-face manner. It has also dramatically increased the use of cloud as it driven by remote work and learn scenario in Microsoft 365 including Teams, Azure, Windows Visual Desktop, and the Power Platform. So for the last one is about the personal computing. With Microsoft also impact the of this make it also advantage of the company. The growing demand in the use of remote virtual meeting users on something that provide benefit to this company. It said because the supply chain constraint in Windows OEM and Surface that improved late in the quarters.
Okay, for the lastly is conclusion. The conclusion obtained from the study is that we can see two market structure that have difference in some aspects. AirAsia is viewed as an oligopoly firm. Microsoft is represented by one business in a monopoly market. Rather than that, oligopoly and a monopoly market are structure that exist when there is imperfect competition. In addition, these two market structure have different SWOT analysis. This proves that these two companies have different strengths as well as weakness. Threats and opportunities are also different. With SWOT analysis, companies can assess the effectiveness of their product and organization. These two companies have been affected as a result of some change in economic and social activities. The impact of this pandemic on AirAsia Airlines is layoff and debt restructuring. But for Microsoft has received a lot of demand, especially related to work, play, and learn from home. Most employment sector do work from home and they use Microsoft a lot in their work.